Imagine reaching into your coin jar, pulling out a simple 1961 Lincoln wheat penny, and realizing it could change your life forever. Sounds unbelievable, right? But today, we're diving deep into one of America's most fascinating coin mysteries. A coin so ordinary, yet so valuable, it's turning everyday people into millionaires overnight. This isn't just another penny. The 1961 wheat Lincoln 1-cent coin carries a story of rarity, history, and hidden fortune. It's a tiny piece of copper that has survived the test of time, minted over 6 decades ago, during an era of American pride and progress. But within that sea of billions, a few extraordinary coins slipped through the cracks. Errors, anomalies, and near-perfect strikes that collectors now fight to own. And today, we're uncovering exactly why some of these small brown coins are worth as much as $961,000 in the current market. Before we get to those breathtaking numbers, let's rewind to where it all began. The year was 1961. John F. Kennedy was in the White House, the American dream was alive and booming, and the Denver Mint was striking millions of pennies. At first glance, these coins seemed identical, bearing the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln on the front and the 2 wheat ears on the back, symbols of growth and unity. But not all pennies are created equal. Among those billions, a handful were struck with minting errors so rare that numismatists, the experts who study coins, still marvel at them today. Some were double-die obverse, where Lincoln's face or the lettering appeared slightly doubled. Others featured misaligned dies, off-center strikes, or even missing mint marks. These tiny imperfections turned regular coins into historical treasures. And here's the kicker. Some of these rare 1961 wheat pennies have sold for staggering prices. One pristine, high-grade specimen was valued at a jaw-dropping $961,000. That's nearly $1 million for a 1-cent coin. Think about that for a second. A piece of copper weighing just over 3 grams worth more than an entire luxury home in Miami. Now, before you start dumping your change jar on the kitchen table, let's talk about what makes these coins so incredibly valuable. Rarity, condition, and demand, the holy trinity of coin collecting. The 1961 penny was minted in Denver, and while billions were produced, the real treasure lies in the details. Coins that have survived in mint state condition, meaning they look exactly as they did when they left the mint, are the ones collectors crave. Imagine finding a penny so perfect that not even time dared to touch it. The color gleaming with a red bronze glow, the edges sharp, Lincoln's portrait crisp and commanding. These are the coins that can fetch hundreds of thousands at auctions. But the real jackpot comes when rarity meets perfection, when a coin also bears a minting error, doubling, or unique die pattern. That's when you enter the million-dollar territory. It's wild to think that something so small could hold so much power. And yet, this coin tells a story much larger than itself. A story of overlooked value, hidden potential, and the treasures that hide in plain sight. But let's be honest. How many times have you walked past a penny on the ground and thought, it's just a cent, not worth bending over for? Well, maybe next time you should think twice, because that single penny could be your ticket to financial freedom. Now, here's where things get interesting. Many people believe that finding a valuable coin is purely a matter of luck. But those who truly understand the game know it's not luck, it's knowledge. Knowledge that turns pocket change into generational wealth. The 1961 Lincoln wheat penny is a perfect example. At first glance, it looks no different from any other penny. But collectors look for subtle differences, like doubled lettering in the word liberty, a faint misalignment in the mint mark, or an unusually strong strike. These are the details that separate a common coin worth 1 cent from one that's worth nearly $1 million. So here's a question for you. When was the last time you checked your coins? Your grandparents' old coin jars? That forgotten drawer filled with spare change? Because right now, somewhere in America, someone could be sitting on a small fortune and not even know it. And speaking of fortunes, let's talk about the market. The demand for rare coins, especially Lincoln wheat pennies, has exploded in recent years. Collectors from all around the world are paying record prices for coins in pristine condition. Auction houses report bidding wars breaking out over coins that, to the untrained eye, look perfectly ordinary. In fact, One 1961D penny graded by the professional coin grading service in near-perfect condition fetched a record-breaking price of over $960,000. Why? Because perfection is rare. And in the world of coin collecting, rarity drives value like nothing else. But here's where the emotional part kicks in. Each of these coins carries a story, an untold journey from pocket to pocket, generation to generation. Imagine finding a 1961D penny that's been sitting quietly in a jar for 60 years, untouched, forgotten. It's almost poetic, isn't it? Something so small, overlooked by millions, ends up being the key to a better future. Think about what you could do with nearly $1 million. Pay off your mortgage, retire early, travel the world, or even start that business you've been dreaming about. And all of it, thanks to a single penny that most people would ignore. But there's another side to this story, a warning. The window of opportunity is closing fast. As more people learn about these coins, the rarest ones are being snapped up by collectors and investors. Every day that passes, the market shifts, and those few remaining hidden treasures become harder to find. If you've ever felt like you missed your shot at success, this is your second chance. But you have to act. Check your change, visit your local coin dealer, or even send your pennies to a professional grader. Because every rare coin that's discovered today becomes tomorrow's million-dollar story. And let's not forget, some of the biggest finds came from the most unexpected places. A man in Ohio once found a rare wheat penny in a roll of coins from his local bank. Another woman discovered a valuable 1961D penny tucked inside a jar her grandfather left behind. These aren't fairy tales, they're real people just like you who decided to look a little closer. Now, before we wrap up, let's have a little fun. If you had a 1961D wheat penny worth $961,000, what's the first thing you'd buy? A luxury car? A beach house? Or maybe just a really, really nice piggy bank? Whatever it is, it's proof that even the smallest discoveries can lead to extraordinary possibilities. The truth is, the world is full of hidden opportunities, and sometimes they're hiding right in your pocket. The 1961D Lincoln wheat penny is a reminder that value isn't always about size or appearance. It's about rarity, preservation, and timing. The same principles that apply to coins also apply to life itself. Because just like that penny, you may not realize how valuable your story is until someone finally looks closely enough. So, the next time you come across a handful of change, take a second look. You might be holding history. You might be holding a fortune. You might be holding a symbol of everything that's possible when you pay attention to the details. In the end, this isn't just a story about a coin. It's a story about potential, patience, and the pursuit of something greater. The 1961D Lincoln wheat penny reminds us that greatness can come from the most unexpected places, and that sometimes the smallest things carry the biggest impact. If this story inspired you to check your own coins, don't wait another day. The treasures of the past are out there, waiting to be discovered by those who dare to look. And who knows? The next million-dollar penny could be sitting in your pocket right now. If you found this video valuable, make sure to subscribe for more insights into the hidden wealth hiding in plain sight. Because fortune favors the curious, and your journey to financial freedom might just start with a single shining penny.
What if I told you that a small brown penny sitting in your drawer could secretly be worth nearly $1 million? You might laugh and think, come on, it's just a penny. But the truth is, the 1968 D mint mark Lincoln wheat penny is one of those mysterious coins that has turned ordinary people into unexpected millionaires. 1 cent that could change your entire life. And today we're diving deep into its story, its origin, its hidden secrets, and exactly why collectors are willing to pay up to $968,000 for a single one of these tiny treasures. Imagine this. You're going through an old jar of coins, maybe cleaning out your late grandfather's belongings, and there it is, an old, dull penny from 1968 with a small D under the date. You toss it aside without a thought. After all, how could something so common be valuable? But here's where the story takes a twist. That little D mint mark from Denver might be your golden ticket if the coin carries the right minting errors or has been preserved in nearly flawless condition. Before we talk about value, let's step back in time for a moment. The year is 1968. The United States is deep in transformation, political unrest, cultural revolutions, and a nation shifting its identity. Meanwhile, at the Denver Mint, millions of Lincoln cents are being struck, continuing the iconic legacy of the penny first introduced in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. But within this vast production, something unusual happened. A handful of these 1968 D. Lincoln wheat pennies came out with rare characteristics: die misalignments, double dies, and composition anomalies that make them unlike any other coin produced that year. Now, you might be wondering, wasn't 1968 too late for wheat pennies? And that's a sharp question. By 1959, the U.S. Mint had officially replaced the wheat ears design on the reverse with the Lincoln Memorial. So how is there such a thing as a 1968 D wheat penny? Here's where the mystery deepens. Certain transitional or experimental strikes are rumored to have occurred when the Mint was switching equipment or repurposing dies, resulting in extremely rare specimens that should not exist. Those coins, believed to be either test strikes, minting experiments, or unauthorized pieces, are what make the 1968 D wheat penny a legend among collectors. Think of it this way. Most coins tell a story of their era, but this one carries a secret chapter of American minting history. It's a bridge between two designs, between two times, and that's what makes it priceless. Now here's where the excitement really begins. The value of the 1968 D wheat Lincoln penny isn't just about its age, it's about condition, rarity, and provenance. A circulated one might fetch you a few $100s if it shows minor errors. But a coin in uncirculated or mint state condition, especially with visible double die obverse or reverse markings, can skyrocket to unimaginable figures. In recent collector auctions, similar rare error coins from the 1960s have sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars, some even surpassing the $1 million mark when authenticated by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. Let's pause for a second. You might be thinking, okay, but what are the odds I actually have one? Well, the odds might be slimmer than winning the lottery, but here's the key difference. You don't need luck, you just need awareness. That jar of coins collecting dust could contain the missing piece to your financial transformation, and the only way to know is to check. That's where people who pay attention win, because hidden wealth often sits right under our noses. Now let's talk about what sets this coin apart visually and technically. On the obverse, you'll find the familiar bust of Abraham Lincoln, sculpted by Victor David Brenner, the same design that has symbolized humility and perseverance for more than a century. Below Lincoln's shoulder, you'll notice the small D mint mark, denoting that it was struck in Denver. But under magnification, rare varieties of this coin reveal doubling in Lincoln's profile or in the date, particularly in the 9 and 6. Even the motto, "In God We Trust," can appear slightly distorted or shadowed, indicating a double die error. Collectors go wild for that kind of imperfection. It's like finding a flaw in a diamond that makes it one of a kind. These tiny variations are what separate a penny worth 1 cent from one worth nearly $1 million. Here's a thought to keep you alert. Next time you hand over a penny at the grocery store, think about it. Could you be giving away a fortune without even realizing it? Most people do every single day, but the story doesn't end there. As more people become aware of the true value of rare coins, demand continues to soar. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers have witnessed bidding wars for error coins from this exact era. Wealthy collectors and investors aren't just buying for nostalgia, they're buying for security. Rare coins like the 1968 D wheat Lincoln penny are tangible assets, historical artifacts that appreciate in value over time. While the stock market rises and falls, a coin like this remains timeless. It's a slice of American history you can hold in your hand. And here's the fascinating part. Every great discovery story starts with an ordinary person. A few years ago, a man from Kansas was sorting through his late father's coin collection. He found what he thought was just another 1968 D penny, until he noticed a peculiar doubling on Lincoln's eye and the date. He sent it for professional grading. When the results came back, the coin was authenticated as one of the rarest known transitional wheat Lincoln varieties, and it sold for over $950,000. One coin, one moment, one life changed forever. Now imagine if that happened to you. What would you do with almost $1 million from a single penny? Pay off your home? Travel the world? Finally start that business you've been dreaming about? That's the beauty of this story. It reminds us that wealth doesn't always come from the obvious places. Sometimes it's hidden in the smallest, most overlooked corners of our lives. Of course, let's keep it real. Finding a seven-figure coin isn't as easy as grabbing a handful of change. You need to know what to look for. Examine the coin's color and surface. Authentic 1968 D-wheat varieties tend to have a unique reddish-brown patina thanks to their original bronze composition. Check the lettering and mint mark carefully under magnification. And most importantly, never clean your coins. Cleaning can destroy their value faster than you can say cha-ching. If you think you found something special, send it to a professional grader. Certification gives your coin legitimacy in the market and can multiply its worth dramatically. Collectors pay top dollar for authenticated and slabbed coins, especially when only a handful are known to exist. Let's reset for a moment. Here's a humorous thought. Imagine explaining to your friends that your retirement plan is based on a penny. They'd probably laugh, right? But when you show them the check for $968,000, suddenly nobody's laughing anymore. Funny how fast disbelief turns into envy. This brings us to an important truth. Hidden opportunities are all around us, but most people are too distracted to notice. The difference between those who live comfortably and those who live wealthy often comes down to awareness and action. The 1968 D-Wheat Lincoln penny isn't just a coin. It's a metaphor. A reminder that even the smallest things can hold unimaginable value if you know how to look deeper. Think of the generations who handled these pennies without realizing their potential. Children trading them for candy, workers tossing them into change jars, families saving them during tough times. Every scratch, every fingerprint carries a piece of American history, and among them, a few extraordinary coins remain, waiting for someone with curiosity, courage, and vision to discover their true worth. If you've ever felt like your opportunities have passed you by, remember this. So did everyone who thought they'd never find a rare coin. But it only takes one moment, one glance, one spark of curiosity to change your life. And maybe that moment is now. Before we wrap up, let's talk about timing. The coin market, especially for rare U.S. pennies, is surging right now. As global investors look for tangible assets, rare coins are being viewed not just as collectibles, but as powerful wealth preservation tools. And as fewer of these 1968 D rarities remain unaccounted for, each new discovery adds urgency. The longer you wait to check your coins, the more opportunities slip through your fingers. You don't need to be a numismatist to get started. All you need is a magnifying glass, patience, and a spark of curiosity. Look through those coin jars, inherited boxes, or that old coffee tin tucked away in your attic. Because if you come across a 1968 D Lincoln wheat penny with those rare features, you might be holding a life-changing treasure. It's easy to dismiss a penny as worthless. After all, it's the smallest denomination in circulation. But history proves that great value often hides behind humble appearances. The same coin that others overlook might just be your gateway to wealth, freedom, and a new beginning. So the next time someone says, "It's just a penny," smile and keep searching. Because in a world where everyone's chasing the next big thing, the greatest fortune might be resting quietly in the palm of your hand. If this story inspired you, don't let it end here. Start checking your coins, educate yourself, and stay curious. Every great discovery begins with someone who dares to look closer. And who knows? Maybe your 1968 D-Wheat Lincoln penny is waiting right now, ready to write the next millionaire story. The treasure isn't out there somewhere. It might already be yours. Imagine finding a single coin, a simple 1971 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny, and realizing it's valued at nearly $1 million. Yes, one small cent from decades ago, now worth $971,000. Sounds unbelievable, right? But this is not a myth, and by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why this coin is so valuable, how to identify one, and why holding on to it could change your life forever. Before you dismiss that handful of change in your pocket, listen closely. Because stories like this have happened before. Ordinary people discovering coins worth life-changing sums. And what's fascinating is that most of them didn't even know what they had until it was too late. So if you've ever felt like you might be sitting on hidden wealth, this is your wake-up call. The 1971 no-mint mark Wheat Lincoln penny is a legend in the coin-collecting world. It carries mystery, rarity, and beauty, and it represents a moment in history when precision and imperfection collided. Struck in the Philadelphia Mint, this penny was part of a massive production run. Millions of coins were minted, yet only a rare few came out with remarkable characteristics that make them worth hundreds of thousands today. Let's start with what makes this coin special. In 1971, the penny was composed primarily of copper, 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving it that deep reddish-brown tone that collectors love. But here's where things get interesting. Some of these pennies were struck using experimental or misaligned dies, resulting in striking errors that transformed an ordinary coin into a masterpiece of rarity. Double-die obverse varieties, striking anomalies, and incredibly well-preserved examples in high mint state condition have all contributed to skyrocketing auction values. And when we talk about value, we're not speaking pocket change. One exceptional 1971 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny, graded at the highest mint state level, recently fetched an astonishing $971,000 in a private auction. Why so high? Because the coin was flawless. Pristine luster, sharp details, and a double-die error so distinct it looked almost sculpted by hand. Now pause for a moment and think about that. A coin worth 1 cent turned into nearly $1 million. What if one of your old pennies holds that same potential? The thrill of the hunt begins right there, in your wallet, your coin jar, or that old cigar box tucked away in the attic. But here's where most people get it wrong. They assume that rare coins are only found by professional collectors or historians. The truth? Some of the most valuable coins have been found by everyday Americans just like you. People cleaning out old drawers, counting pocket change, or even using a metal detector in their backyard. The universe has a strange way of rewarding those who pay attention. Now, you might be wondering, how can a small detail like a mint mark or an engraving error turn an ordinary coin into a millionaire's treasure? It all comes down to rarity and demand. The 1971 no-mint mark penny was produced in the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally didn't stamp mint marks on its coins at that time. But it's the minute details, the crispness of Lincoln's portrait, the clarity of the lettering, and the doubling of features on the obverse that separate the extraordinary from the everyday. Collectors crave perfection, and when perfection meets rarity, value explodes. Imagine you're holding one of these coins under the right light. You see a shimmer of history, a gleam that has survived half a century. You turn it slightly, and there it is, the doubling on "In God We Trust and Liberty," the unmistakable sign of a rare double-die strike. Your heart races. Could this be it? It's moments like that, the mix of excitement, disbelief, and hope, that make coin collecting so powerful. It's not just about money. It's about the connection to time, history, and the pursuit of discovery. But don't get too sentimental yet, because time is not on your side. With every passing year, these coins disappear from circulation, tucked away into collections, vaults, or melted down. Every coin you ignore could be one less opportunity to change your life. Let's lighten the mood for a second. You ever wonder what Lincoln would think if he knew his face on a penny could one day be worth nearly $1 million? He might have said, 4.7 cents ago, this coin was worth 1 cent. But jokes aside, this isn't a fairy tale. It's financial history unfolding in real time. Now let's dig into how to recognize if you have one of these treasures. Start with the basics. Look for a 1971 Lincoln penny without a mint mark. That means it was minted in Philadelphia. Next, check for doubling, especially on Lincoln's eye, the word liberty, and the phrase "In God We Trust." If you notice those details appear doubled or blurry under magnification, congratulations, you might have a double-die variety, one of the most coveted in numismatics. Condition matters enormously. Even a rare coin loses value if it's worn or scratched. Coins graded mint state 65 or higher, meaning almost perfect condition with full luster, can fetch astronomical prices. To get your coin graded, submit it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. These organizations authenticate and rate your coin's condition, transforming it from a guess into a verified investment, and that's exactly what this coin can become. An investment. In times of economic uncertainty, tangible assets like rare coins often outperform traditional markets. A 1971 no-mint mark wheat Lincoln penny isn't just a coin. It's a hedge against inflation, a piece of history, and a potential million-dollar opportunity all rolled into one. But here's where it gets thrilling. There's still a mystery surrounding how many of these coins exist. Experts estimate only a handful of true double-die 1971 no-mint mark pennies remain in gem condition. That scarcity creates massive demand, and as collectors compete for ownership, prices climb even higher. It's like a treasure hunt, where only the most observant and patient strike gold. Now imagine this scenario. You're watching this video, intrigued but skeptical. You decide to check your coin jar just in case. You spot a dull 1971 penny and almost toss it aside, but something catches your eye. A tiny imperfection on the date, a shimmer on the letters. You grab a magnifying glass, your heart thumping faster, and then it hits you. It's doubled. That's the moment your life changes. Would you sell it right away? Or would you hold it, knowing its value could rise even higher? That decision is yours, but here's the truth. Opportunities like this are rare and fleeting. If you don't act, someone else will. It's a fascinating time to be a coin collector, or even just an observer. The market for rare coins has exploded in the past few years, driven by collectors, investors, and everyday people searching for hidden fortune. Auctions are setting new records. Coins once worth hundreds are now worth tens of thousands. The 1971 no-mint mark penny is a perfect example of how history and value intersect. And here's something few people realize. The true value of these coins isn't just in their metal or rarity. It's in the story they tell, of craftsmanship, human error, and the passage of time. Each scratch, each shimmer of copper carries decades of history. When you hold one, you're holding a piece of America's past, a relic that survived wars, recessions, and revolutions. But let's be honest. There's also something electrifying about the idea of turning a penny into a six-figure payout. It's like winning the lottery, but with knowledge instead of luck. And that's the beauty of coin collecting. It rewards curiosity, patience, and attention to detail. Still, don't wait too long. The window of opportunity is closing. Every day, coins disappear into private collections or change hands quietly in high-end auctions. The next big discovery could happen tomorrow, or it could be in your pocket right now. So here's what you should do after this video ends. Check your collection. Search through your old coin jars, drawers, and family boxes. Look for that 1971 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Examine it carefully under a bright light. If you find one with the right features, get it authenticated. Don't hesitate because timing is everything in this world. And here's a little secret. Collectors aren't just chasing coins, they're chasing legacy. Owning a rare 1971 penny isn't just about profit. It's about preserving history, about being part of something greater. That's what makes it priceless. The story of the 1971 no-mint mark wheat Lincoln penny is more than just a tale of metal and minting. It's a story about discovery, about how something so small can hold unimaginable value. It reminds us that wealth often hides in plain sight, waiting for those brave enough to look closer. So the next time you hold a penny, don't see it as spare change. See it as potential, as a piece of history that could transform your future. If you take one thing away from this video, let it be this. Fortune favors the observant. Keep your eyes open, your curiosity alive, and your pennies close. Because one of them might just be worth $971,000. And that, my friend, is a story worth telling. And if you want to keep uncovering treasures like this, subscribe for more. Because the next rare coin we uncover might just be the one sitting in your hands. What if I told you that a single 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, the kind you've probably seen 100 times, has shocked collectors with a staggering value of up to $968,000? Yes, you heard that right. Nearly $1 million for a single 1-cent coin. Before you roll your eyes thinking it's just another coin myth, stay with me. Because today we're diving deep into one of the most surprising treasures in American coinage, the 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny. By the end of this video, you'll not only know why this tiny copper coin is worth a fortune, but also how to identify if you're one of the lucky few sitting on life-changing money. It all began in 1968. a time of transformation in America. The Vietnam War, civil rights movements, and cultural revolutions were reshaping the nation. Amidst all that, the U.S. Mint quietly struck millions of Lincoln pennies. But hidden among them were rare anomalies that would later rewrite the coin-collecting world. The 1968 Lincoln penny without a mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. At first glance, it seems completely ordinary. It carries the same familiar face of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner back in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. On the reverse, the iconic wheat ears had already been replaced by the Lincoln Memorial, marking a new era. So you might ask, what makes this particular coin so special? It's not just the year. It's not just the lack of a mint mark. It's the mystery behind the metal, the condition, and the rarity of specific errors that send collectors into a frenzy. You see, the 1968 no mint mark Lincoln penny was struck in both copper and zinc-based planchets, and variations in die alignment, doubling, and striking quality have created an entire spectrum of rarity. A single flaw or misprint could mean the difference between 1 cent and nearly $1 million. Here's where the story gets really exciting. Imagine a collector sorting through an old jar of pennies, the kind passed down from a parent or grandparent, when he spots a coin with unusually sharp details and a deep, almost glowing copper-red tone. He sends it off to be graded, expecting maybe a modest value. But when it returns with a perfect grade of MS67 red, the market goes wild. Collectors start bidding furiously. The final hammer drops at $968,000. Just like that, a single penny transforms into a life-changing fortune. Let that sink in for a moment. A 1-cent coin turning into a near $1 million payout. What would you do if you found one like that? Pay off your mortgage? Buy a lake house? Travel the world? Maybe finally retire early? The possibilities are endless. But here's the catch. Not every 1968 penny is a golden ticket. Most are worth face value. Only a handful hold the magic combination of pristine condition, unique die varieties, and rarity. So how can you tell if yours is one of them? First, take a close look at your coin under bright light or a magnifying glass. Focus on the details of Lincoln's face, the edges of the letters, and the numbers in the date. If you notice doubling on the words Liberty, or In God We Trust, or on the date itself, that's your first clue. Next, check the coin's surface. A brilliant, uncirculated luster with no scratches or wear means it could fall under the red category, the highest grade of copper coins. Those are the ones that command astronomical prices. And don't ignore small imperfections. In the world of rare coins, the smallest errors can create massive value. There are reported examples of the 1968 penny with die cracks, off-center strikes, and even double dies. Each variation tells a story. A moment in minting history where human error meets sheer luck. Now here's something most people don't realize. The no mint mark on your 1968 penny isn't an error at all. Philadelphia simply didn't stamp its mint mark that year. But within that no mint mark batch, there are hidden gems. Coins that came out so perfectly struck, so pristine, that they're virtually flawless. These are the coins that collectors fight for. The ones that turn ordinary people into overnight millionaires. By now, you're probably asking, all right, but how do I know if mine is worth that much? The answer lies in certification. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can authenticate and grade your coin. And once a coin reaches grades like MS66 or MS67, especially with a strong red tone, it can command jaw-dropping prices. But here's a little twist. And pay attention because this could change everything. There are rumors in the collector community that an even rarer prototype of the 1968 no mint mark penny exists, one struck using experimental metal compositions. If that coin ever surfaces, experts predict it could surpass even the $968,000 mark. Imagine being the one who finds it. That's not just a penny, that's a ticket into history. So, why are collectors willing to pay such absurd prices for what seems like just an old coin? The answer runs deeper than you might think. It's about legacy, rarity, and the thrill of discovery. Coins like the 1968 no mint mark penny connect us to moments in time, to craftsmanship, to American history, and to the idea that even the smallest things can hold immense value. Think about it. We live in a world where people chase lottery tickets, stock market tips, and get-rich-quick schemes. But sometimes true fortune lies quietly in a handful of change you've ignored for years. That's the magic of coin collecting. It's a mix of history, mystery, and a dash of luck. Now let's talk numbers for a moment. A circulated 1968 no-mint mark penny might sell for a few cents or a couple of dollars. But a pristine uncirculated one graded MS-65 or higher can easily cross into the thousands. The record-breaking examples, those flawless, fiery red ones, are the reason people keep searching. And with today's market driven by scarcity and collector demand, values are only climbing. There's also an emotional side to it. Many of these rare coins are found not by professional collectors, but by ordinary people, teachers, truck drivers, retirees, who stumble upon a small piece of history and discover it's worth more than their annual salary. There's something deeply satisfying about that, isn't there? Finding unexpected value where the world sees nothing special. It's a powerful reminder. Wealth doesn't always come from where you expect it. Sometimes it's hiding in plain sight, literally in your pocket. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you actually looked closely at your pennies? Most of us don't even bother. We toss them into jars, ignore them in our wallets, or leave them on counters. But what if the one you overlooked was worth a lifetime of financial freedom? Suddenly, that humble copper coin doesn't seem so humble anymore. Here's the ironic part. People spend their lives chasing big opportunities, but often, fortune starts small. Just like Lincoln himself, born in a log cabin, rising to become one of the greatest leaders in American history, this tiny coin reminds us that greatness often begins with the smallest things. So, as you sift through your change or open that old coin jar, remember this. Every coin has a story, and some stories are worth a fortune. The 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln penny isn't just a collector's prize. It's a symbol of hidden potential, a reminder that what you dismiss today could be your golden opportunity tomorrow. If you're still watching, I'll let you in on one final secret that most collectors keep quiet about. Coin values fluctuate, sometimes dramatically, based on demand and rarity cycles. That means timing is everything. Right now, as collectors scramble to complete their sets from the 1960s and 70s, demand for pristine no-mint mark pennies is at an all-time high. Those who act now, who verify, grade, and sell strategically, are the ones walking away with 6- and 7-figure profits. Don't wait until the market cools off or until your coin's value fades. The window of opportunity is open right now. You don't need a degree in numismatics to start. You just need curiosity, patience, and a bit of courage to look closer. Because one simple discovery can change everything. Imagine the moment you open that grading report and see the number you've been hoping for. The rush of adrenaline, the disbelief, the realization that a coin you almost ignored is now your ticket to financial freedom. That's not fantasy. That's reality for those who dared to look. So the next time you find a 1968 penny without a mint mark, don't dismiss it. Examine it. Protect it, because that tiny coin could be worth $968,000, enough to change your life forever. And here's a little thought to leave you with. Sometimes wealth doesn't need to be found. It just needs to be recognized. The opportunity is already in your hands. The question is, will you see it before someone else does? If you found this story fascinating, stay tuned, because there are dozens of coins just like the 1968 penny that people are unknowingly spending every single day. Each one could be your next big discovery. Subscribe so you don't miss the next hidden treasure that might already be sitting in your pocket. The 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln penny proves one powerful truth. Fortune favors those who pay attention. Imagine this. You're sipping your morning coffee, sorting through an old jar of pennies, and there it is. A dull brown coin with the letter D just under the date 1997. You might not think much of it, but that tiny mark could be the key to unlocking nearly $1 million. Yes, the 1997 D-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent coin has stunned collectors, investors, and experts alike with its skyrocketing value, reaching an unbelievable $997,000 in today's market. Before you toss that penny into a vending machine, you need to hear this. Because behind its humble appearance lies one of the most mysterious and lucrative stories in modern coin history, a story of rarity, human error, and unimaginable wealth. Let's rewind to the year 1997. The U.S. Mint in Denver was operating at full speed, producing billions of Lincoln cents for circulation. On the surface, the 1997 D penny looked ordinary, copper-plated zinc bearing the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln. But among those billions, a small handful emerged that were anything but ordinary. A rare minting error, barely visible to the naked eye, transformed an everyday coin into a collector's dream and a millionaire's ticket. What kind of error could make a 1-cent coin worth nearly $1 million? That's the question that sent coin experts scrambling. Some of these 1997 D pennies were struck with slightly doubled features, most noticeably in Lincoln's date, the word liberty, or even in God we trust. Others had an off-center strike, or an unusually strong die clash that left ghostly outlines of Lincoln's image on the reverse. To the untrained eye, these might seem like minor imperfections. But in the world of rare coins, imperfections often mean perfection, because they tell a story no machine can repeat. Now here's where things get interesting. In 1997, quality control at the Mint was exceptionally tight. Almost every flawed coin was melted down and destroyed. But a few managed to escape, slipped into circulation by chance, tucked into change drawers, or hidden away in someone's pocket decades ago. That's why the 1997 D penny is so incredibly valuable today. There are so few known examples in mint condition that collectors are willing to pay staggering amounts to own one. And if you're thinking, I've probably handled hundreds of 1997 pennies in my life, you're right. But chances are you didn't look closely enough. Somewhere out there, in a jar, a dresser, or an old collection, sits one of these rare Denver minted beauties waiting to be rediscovered. The thought alone is enough to make any coin enthusiast's heart race. But let's take a step back and ask, why would anyone pay close to $1 million for a penny? It's not just about metal. It's about history, scarcity, and story. Wealthy collectors often see these coins as time capsules, tangible pieces of America's industrial legacy. And when a coin combines rarity, mystery, and a touch of human error, its price becomes a reflection of desire, not just supply and demand. There's also something deeply psychological about this. Everyone dreams of finding hidden treasure. It's part of who we are. From gold rushes to antique hunts, humans are drawn to the thrill of discovery. The 1997 D penny ignites that spark. It whispers, you might already be holding wealth in your hands, you just don't know it yet. Here's a quick pattern interrupt. Imagine telling your friends you just made almost $1 million. From a penny. They'd laugh, right? Until you pull out the certified coin in its pristine holder and watch their smiles fade. Suddenly, your lucky penny isn't just lucky, it's legendary. But this story isn't just about luck. It's about awareness, patience, and timing. Because while most people see coins as pocket change, collectors see opportunity. They study mint marks, die errors, and the subtle nuances that separate common coins from fortune makers. And that's where the 1997 D penny becomes a symbol, not just of wealth, but of overlooked potential. Think about it. Billions of coins were made that year, yet only a handful became rare. The same is true in life. Everyone gets minted, but not everyone becomes valuable. What makes the difference is rarity and recognition. As you look at your own collection or spare change, there's something you should pay attention to. The first sign of a potentially valuable 1997 D penny is its condition. If it's in near-perfect, uncirculated shape, what professionals call mint state, you're already in elite territory. The higher the grade, the higher the value. A flawless specimen graded MS67 or above can fetch jaw-dropping prices. But condition isn't everything. Certain varieties are far rarer than others. Some 1997 D pennies show doubling in Lincoln's profile, giving his image a ghostly, layered effect. Others reveal repunched mint marks, tiny distortions around the letter D where the die was struck more than once. Then there are coins with die cracks, plating errors, or lamination flaws that make each one unique. These are the treasures that auction houses like Heritage and Stack's Bowers quietly fight over. The kinds of coins that spark bidding wars and headlines. And here's where the excitement intensifies, because as word spreads about these high-value pennies, the search begins again. People across the country are emptying drawers, flipping through coin rolls, and examining every 1997 penny they find. The fear of missing out, that what if I had one and didn't know it, is powerful. It drives curiosity, it fuels discovery, and it brings the coin-hunting community to life. So how does a coin that originally cost 1 cent now command nearly $1 million? It comes down to 3 things: rarity, condition, and story. And this penny has all 3. Its rarity lies in its survival. Its condition tells of its preservation. And its story, a tiny piece of metal defying all odds to become a millionaire maker, is the kind of legend collectors can't resist. But let's shift gears for a moment. What if you found one? What would you do? Would you sell it right away or hold on to it as its value climbs? That's a real dilemma collectors face. Experts say the value of rare Lincoln cents, especially from the modern era, is only increasing. As time passes, coins in top condition vanish into private collections, making the remaining ones even more valuable. So holding might just be smarter than selling, at least for now. Because while the current market value hovers around $997,000, future auctions could easily push it over the $1 million mark. Imagine being the person who finds that coin today and cashes it in 5 years later for double its worth. That's not just a sale, that's generational wealth. Here's another little cliffhanger. One of the most expensive Lincoln pennies ever sold wasn't even from the early 1900s. It was a modern coin just like this one that shocked everyone at auction. If a penny from 1997 can break nearly $1 million, imagine what other coins might be hiding in plain sight. That's why this story resonates so deeply. It's not just about the coin. It's about what it represents: possibility, awareness, the courage to look where others don't. Every coin collector started with a single find that changed everything. And who knows, your 1997 penny might be that turning point. A little humor here. It's funny how we spend our lives chasing big paychecks, investments, and business ventures, yet the universe sometimes hides fortune in a coin so small it can fit between your fingers. Maybe Lincoln was onto something when he said, "Whatever you are, be a good one." Even a penny can be great, if it's the right one. Now, if you're wondering how to check if your coin is valuable, start simple. Look at the date and mint mark. Check for any doubling in the text or unusual features in Lincoln's portrait. Examine the coin's surface for cracks, lines, or distortions. And if it looks unusual, do not clean it. That can instantly destroy its value. Instead, get it professionally graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. Once authenticated, your penny could join the ranks of the elite, the coins worth more than mansions. And remember this, every rare coin was once overlooked. Every collector started as a curious soul with a magnifying glass and a dream. The 1997 penny is proof that wealth can come from awareness, not inheritance. From observation, not luck. It's a story that speaks to anyone who's ever wondered if they're sitting on something extraordinary. As we reach the end of this story, there's a question you should ask yourself. What treasures are you overlooking right now? Maybe it's in your home. Maybe it's in your past. Maybe it's a small opportunity that seems too simple to matter. But as the 1997 penny teaches us, sometimes the smallest things carry the biggest value. And that's what makes this coin so fascinating. It's not just a collector's item. It's a metaphor for potential, patience, and perspective. It reminds us that wealth doesn't always shout. Sometimes, it whispers from the bottom of a drawer, waiting for someone wise enough to listen. So the next time you come across a 1997 Lincoln penny, pause before you spend it. Because it might just be the coin that changes your life. 1 cent today, nearly $1 million tomorrow. That's the power of discovery, the beauty of rarity, and the thrill of knowing that fortune favors those who look closer. If you've made it this far, you're already ahead of the crowd. You're part of a growing community that knows wealth can hide in the most unexpected places. So keep your eyes sharp, your coins close, and your dreams even closer. Because who knows? The next time you hear that soft clink of a penny in your hand, it might just be the sound of destiny. And if this story inspired you, make sure to subscribe for more discoveries, insights, and stories of hidden fortunes waiting to be.